Hey, howdy gamers, it's Kuro. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. Welcome on in, everybody. Today, I have a brand new Templar build to share with you all, if you can really call it that. It only has one Templar skill line, but the most important thing here is that we are using jabs. It is a jabs build. We have once again picked up the big, long, pointy, glowing penetrator of justice. It's been a long time though. Luckily, just like you never forget how to ride a bike, you never forget how to ride your penetrator. What I mean by that is, moving on. First things first, disclaimer. No, this is not the most overpowered, unkillable, god mode, super turbo max meta build ever made, and actually leans away from what most of the meta builds are doing at the moment, but that does not make it any less strong. If you like super high mobility, really strong damage over time pressure, both AoE and single target, and most importantly, having a great time while you play the game, this is the build for you, because it's got all those things, and more. If you like stuff like this, consider leaving a like or subscribing to the channel to help support the channel, and if you really like stuff like this, consider maybe becoming a YouTube channel member like these handsome gentlemen you see on screen now to help me keep making these videos on a regular basis and to win yourself some perks, such as... Anyway, let's get right into the build, shall we? Alright, jumping on into the build here, we're just going to jump right into showing you guys the stat sheet, as best as I can at least. When it comes to our defenses, we got 29,000 armor, that's going to go up in combat due to one of our sets, 2200 mag recovery, 2600 stamina recovery, a lot of sustain on this bad boy. When it comes to our offenses, we're looking at a respectable 6100 spell damage, 5000 pen, we do get major breach, so that'll be a little bit over 10,000 pen, 11,000 or so, 30,000 health, just under 16,000 stamina, 20,000 magicka. I think I've actually got some misnumbers there. I wanted 16,000, but I'm just not going to worry about that. Who cares about details, right? Who cares about details, Kuro? It's not important. It's only super close to 16, but that's fine. When it comes to our Mundus stone, we are using, of course, the Apprentice, because I want more spell damage, because spell damage helps us make a live thing turn into dead thing, and when it comes to that, I'm also using High Elf as my race, because again, High Elf makes a live thing into dead thing. Also, it gives us 5% mitigation while channeling an ability, i.e., our jabs, which is already going to give us minor protection when we cast it, and we also have major protection in this build, so we're going to have a lot of defense when we're on our offense, and it's going to be fantastic. If you're not a high elf, or you don't want to play a high elf, maybe you're a racist, you could be an orc. I think orc is the second best option for this build, because it gets to go fast, and it does have, again, that same damage. When it comes to our Vampirism stage, I actually play Vampire Stage 4 on this because I feel like it helps the build a lot, sustaining its stamina while sprinting, because of course, sprinting costs stamina. And guess what? That 2600 stamina recovery value, which we no longer have because my sets are down, you don't get that when you're sprinting. So I placed Vampire Stage 4 primarily for that, but you can play Vampire Stage 3, you could probably play this without even being a vampire if you wanted to, and yeah, that's about it for the stats, and why I am doing what I'm doing. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the part that I know everyone is actually here for, which is the sets. I know you guys just come in here to look at the sets and you leave the video. It's fine. It only hurts a little bit. Now, keep in mind, I made my set choices based on what I said earlier in the beginning of the video, the intro there, that I have decided to just completely go against the crit meta by not participating in crit chance at all. We don't have any. I don't know if you noticed from the stat sheet, but we have like 13%, and that doesn't matter all that much, because, I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now, this is a Malakath's Band of Brutality build. This is going to give us 16% overall damage at all times to all of our attacks, but reduce our crit damage to being flat. Basically, we get no additional crit damage. We're not going to be able to hit extra hard with crits in PvP, but we're going to have very, very high pressure, essentially, with this at all times. We're replacing critical damage burst with percentage multiplier damage over time, and that's the way I'm playing this build. If you don't like it, then you can leave, because playing exactly into that is our first set on the front bar, Deadly Strike. Now this gives us 2 lines of weapon and spell damage. Sadly, the wasted crit chance there, but I mean, it's okay. It helps our crits on the back bar. Crit healing we still get to have. And then, of course, increases your damage done with damage over time effects and channeled attacks by 15%. Now, this is all of the damage over time abilities that we are using because we have many. And, of course, our jabs makes our poking harder. Now, you combine this with Malakath, and we are getting 31% extra damage on basically everything we do. That may not be crit damage level, but that 31% extra damage making us hit harder all the time is going to be very, very helpful at pressuring and killing players, especially the ones that don't respond as well to things. And then on the back bar we have Wretched Vitality. I'm using a Defending Ice Staff. I was using Sword and Board. I have clips of Sword and Board, but not being able to get my Magicka back with heavy attacks was definitely hindering the build some, so I have changed over to an Ice Staff. Now what this does, gives us a lot of recovery. Magical recovery, stamina recovery, weapon damage, and spell damage on the back bar for our heals, and then while in combat, whenever you cast an ability, blah blah blah. Basically, whenever we cast pretty much anything on our back bar, it's going to give us a buff that increases our recovery to that ridiculously high value you saw there. And this just basically enables me to play the game. Just play the game, really. You know, you don't have to worry about your sustain when you have this much. You don't have to worry about running out of juice. As you can see, mine is unenchanted because I'm an idiot, but you should have a weapon and spell damage enchantment here because that way you can do a quick little light attack before you get into fights and you're going to have a lot more damage. When it comes to my monster set, I am using Bloodspawn on this build. I find this very, very helpful because it makes us, once again, not die. I love not dying. It is a lot of fun. It gives us a lot of armor, and then it also helps us get our ultimate back much, much faster, which is very helpful for both offense and defense. And then I think that's it, aside from our Gallant Chain on the chest piece here. This is a heavy reinforced piece for additional health. Now, when it comes to our traits, weights, all that, we're using 2 maces on the front bar. One is Nirnhoned, one is Sharpened. This gives us a very nice balance of weapon damage to penetration for our heals and our damage, which I like quite a lot. Our Ice Staff is Defending. I am using, what am I using, actually? I have on, I think, only 2 heavy? Ideally, this would be 3 heavy on your head, chest, shoulders, a light belt, because this set is crafted, and then 3 medium on the body. But you can really run it however you want to. The more weapon damage you have from medium armor, the better. But I would ideally have 3 heavy, 1 light, 3 medium. And then our enchantments on our jewelry here, I'm using 1 swift, just for some additional speed. We do have both major and minor expedition on this build, so we don't need a lot of swift, but 1 felt nice. You could just go infused here for more damage if you wanted to, and I wouldn't fault you at all. And then we do have 2 infused, all with weapon spell damage enchants here. Whichever version, it doesn't really matter. I have 2 that are giving me stamina recovery, one that's giving me magic recovery. It doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. It's the least important thing going on here. But that is it for our sets, weights, traits, all of that. Make sure everything is in pen if you can. I'm missing 1, 2 in pen, so we could have a lot more crit resist. But I am lazy, and I don't feel like fixing this. Now, let's go ahead and move right on into the skills. This is where things get a little fun, if you ask me. Number 1, we are using Healing Soul from Scribing because they finally gave it to me. Can you believe it, Chat? Cinemax finally deigned me worthy. We do have it scribed up with Healing, Resource Return, and Major Vitality. Super quick and easy to get, and it is a very, very potent heal. It's going to make all of our healing betterer. The additional mag return there basically helps reduce the cost of this ability and gives us back some stamina as well. And it's just in general a very, very potent heal. Let's see, can I... Yeah, we'll do that. 14,000 on the tooltip, not bad. And of course we're gonna get the buff that makes it heal even more, so pretty nice, pretty nice. Now moving on to the rest, we have Critical Surge here. This is going to be what gives us our weapon and spell damage uptime, and of course if we do happen to deal critical damage, it may not hurt anymore because of our Malakath's band, but what it will do is it will heal us for a little bit, which is nice. We have a lot of dots, We have a lot of damage per second, so this is going to proc pretty often, so it's going to help us stay in the fight just a little bit longer. Now Hurricane, this is our armor buff, our minor expedition, and an additional dot. Pretty self-explanatory there. I like having this because it helps you go fast. Then for our snare removal and mobility, we are using Ball of Lightning. This is really nice right now for a few reasons. One, it gets you some distance on the bad guys, you know, so you're already going pretty fast. Now you can just zip, zop, zoop right out of there. And as you can see, leaves a little ball there. That's going to absorb projectiles behind you. Now, one of the things that has killed me the most in this patch is catching a stray Merciless Resolve to the back of the dome piece. This is going to help make sure that doesn't happen as often. It really does help more than you'd think. There's a lot of range damage in this patch, and this just helps to get rid of some of that. And of course, we have Resolving Vigor. You know what this does. Heal over time. Minor resolve, you need this. And then for my backbar ultimate, I'm being a little weird. I'm being a little wacky. I'm experimenting with barrier because I'm not using sword and board ult, which if I was, I would put sword and board ult right here. It's my favorite, but I'm using an ice staff and I didn't really want to do undo. I didn't really like anything else, but I do like barrier because it does two things for me. One, it is a defensive ultimate. If you're going to use this, use Reviving Barrier. I think I haven't even morphed mine, as you can see, because I'm lazy. But yeah, it is, it gives you a big old shield when you cast it, but even nicer than that is it gives us additional Magicka Recovery, just for having it slot on the back bar, so that helps us sustain when we are on the run, just trying to survive out here in these streets. But you could really use whatever defensive ultimate you want on here. Undo would be nice, because of the minor protection uptime as well as the ankle breaking ability, but I don't think I even have that unlocked. I sure don't. But yeah, I like this one. It's quite nice. On the front bar now, we got, this is where the fun begins. We got Noxious Breath. This is a AoE dot that will also debuff everyone we hit. It will debuff their armor, and it will apply poisoned. So you're not just getting the damage over time of the ability here, you're also getting poisoned on everybody. So you can see one attack is going to do 2 different dots. Ready? You can see every second there, every 2 seconds we get 2 dots. So there's a lot of pressure on multiple people. And it will really help do some additional, I've said it already, additional pressure. It's going to apply poison, and it's going to apply a dot. I've said all of these things. Moving on. Our stun of choice is actually Toppling Charge. You could use the Javelin if you want to, everyone's using it, but on this build I actually quite like Toppling Charge because it is a gap closer. Oh my god, what is happening? My controller. What just happened? Hold on, chat, hold on, chat. I streamed too much. With Toppling Charge, it's a gap close, it stuns, and it also sets people off balance, which with one of our CP will be very, very helpful. And it's just nice, because with our mobility, we can get out of a fight, and we can return to it offensively, you know, get right under the jabs. The really helpful thing is that it also gives us major protection when we cast it, so if we do engage a fight this way, and then we go into our jabs, we now have both major protection, minor protection, and of course, the 5% damage mitigation from being a high elf, which helps out quite a lot with staying on the offense. Now we also have Quick Cloak. This is... I originally had Blood Craze here, and I do think Blood Craze is actually quite nice for the damage and the additional healing over time, but I found Quick Cloak to be much more helpful for 2 reasons. One, it gives us movement speed, it gives us our Major Expedition, which helps us get out of things. We can stack that Major Minor, now we're zooming, we can be very elusive. But secondly, it also gives us Major Evasion, which is going to reduce the physical damage we take. Unless I am lying? No, it does. Okay. Whoa, that was scary. It's going to reduce the AoE damage we take, which helps a lot when a lot of people are using Blast Bones, a lot of people are using Deep Fissure. This is just going to make us tankier against those attacks. Very, very helpful. And it is also a dot, an AoE dot, that will hit everyone around you once every 2 seconds. So, it's pretty nice. Then we have Burning Embers. I like this because of 2 reasons. 3 reasons, even. Let's just get back over here to our little dummy. And no, I'm not talking about you, chat. You're a little silly, but I wouldn't call you dumb. You go ahead and apply that, and it is going to apply both the burning dot and the dot from the skill, and it's going to heal you for the damage done. which is super helpful. Any damage over time, or any heal over time, is a huge benefit to the build, and again, just keeping us on the offense. And of course, it is flame damage, and a lot of people are running vampires, so they're gonna hurt from this pretty bad. And then I am actually using Puncturing Sweep. I'm not using Stamina. Oh, he died. What? Oh my god, look at those dogs. Anyway, I'm not using Biting Jabs, which for damage is actually the better morph, but I like Puncturing Sweep because, once again, it gives us healing when we are on the offense. So, if we have this going, we got our Crit Surge going, healing us every second. Now we're going to have even more healing when we're on the offensive here. We got several different things healing us while we are attacking, so that just helps us stay in the fight longer, and that's what I like. However, if you wanted to, you could run Biting Jabs here. It will do more damage, thanks to one of our passives down here, wherever it is. This one, it'll do 5% more damage, and it will also apply Sundered for more penetration, more weapon damage, and the proc itself does do a lot of damage. However, if you're going to run Biting Jabs instead, you will want to make two adjustments. One, I would swap your Magicka and Stamina pools here. Make your Stamina pool the bigger one, probably like 18 to 20k. You'll feel a lot more comfortable there. And two, you would want to change one of your maces, your sharpened mace. You would want to change this to charged. Now that would help you a lot with applying that Sundered status effect, which will make up for the sharpened loss because it's going to apply minor breach, and it's also going to give you 100% additional, or not 100%, Jesus Christ, 100 additional weapon spell damage, and the proc itself hits quite hard, so it's very helpful. It's the more damaging option, but I've actually found that I have better sustain and more healing mid-fight with this one. Either one works, though. They're both great. And then, of course, for my ultimate here, we are using Crescent Sweep. I love this thing. It's awesome. It's super cheap, so we can spam it, especially with our Blood Spawn, and it just has an uncleansable dot that will tick around us at all times. We're going to have Quick Cloak, Jabs, and Crescent doing constant AoE pressure on a lot of targets, and it's going to be very useful. However, if you want to, you can always put on Big Boy Dawnbreaker. This is also super useful in a fight, because the damage over time is quite nasty, and the initial smack really hurts, but the dot can be cleansed. Unlike Crescent Sweep, the dot can be cleansed. A lot of people are running Netch right now, so a lot of people are going to be getting a lot of cleanses. You don't want your offensive ultimate getting cleansed, but it does stun everyone you hit, which can often lead to you having an opening to do more additional damage. So pick and choose. I beseech you to play with both Crescent Sweep and Dawnbreaker to see which one you like better. Now, real quick, I just want to talk about the synergy we have going on here, because it's very important. We have a lot of damage over time, okay? We have 1, 2, 3, this is number 4. We got 4 big dots here. We have double dot poisons on our front bar. So, when it comes to fighting targets, especially targets using Netch or spamming Cleanse, your jabs are your final option in a fight. That is what you do once you've applied every dot that you have, because that's where the real pressure is going to come from. You keep your dots up first and foremost. If they are cleansing your dots off, you reapply those motherfuckers. I'm telling you this right now, you reapply your dots, because that is going to do two things. It's going to keep up the pressure, and two, it's going to get them to either waste time spamming Netch, or waste time and resources by spamming any other cleanse, which is very helpful. And once they've run out of resources, that's when you can start hitting them with the jabs. You will notice they'll start slowing down. It is a lot of pressure, I promise you. Now, it's going to be very hard to secure kills on the best of the best players right now, because they do have very strong healing, they do have cleanses, and they do have burst instead of pressure. However, you can and will catch a lot of them off guard, as long as you're not dueling the people in Wayrest. Those guys are on a different fucking plane of existence. Don't bother. If you try this build, go to Wayrest and get your ass kicked, do not comment on my video saying that it's not a good build. It's not the build. It's not even you. It's them. They're a different fucking breed. Okay, those dueling builds are insane. This is not a dueling build. This is a build meant for Battlegrounds, meant for pugging open world Cyrodiil, or playing alone in Cyrodiil. It is a lot of fun. But that is it for the skills. into our champion points real quick. This is pretty quick and easy. We're using Focused Mending for our healing. Then we are using this one here, Ironclad, to reduce direct damage attacks. I also have on Untamed Aggression. This is not really the best CP, I just chose it because it gives us a little more damage to all of our attacks. This is going to be our dots, our direct damage, and also our healing. And it also made me have over 6,000 on the tool or on my sheet, so it looked good. But if you want more damage, I would honestly just go with Master at Arms. We're not using that. Our only damage CP is actually this one here, Exploiter. This will give us 10% more damage done to the enemies that we off balance with our the one that's yellow. This one right here. That one, Toppling Charge, there it is. Into the red CP, I am using Fortified just because I want a little bit more armor. It's not exactly as much mitigation as something like Juggernaut, but it's always up, and it's just generally pretty helpful. So I do like having that. Then in here, we of course have Pain's Refuge. You're going to have a lot of negative effects on you. This will make you tankier. Sustained by Suffering. This is going to help us sustain via Suffering. And then lastly, we have Celerity, because again, this is a speed-focused build. I want to go fast. Celerity is the choice. If you don't mind losing a little bit of speed, swap out Celerity for Juggernaut, and you'll become even tankier. When it comes to the green CP, I never talk about this, but just make sure you have War Mount. If you're playing PvP, don't play PvP without War Mount. It's pointless. It sucks. And then lastly, I just want to talk about potions. And also, poison. I use Drain Health potions. Double Drain Health. This is really nice. Double dot, double hot. This is going to do a lot of pressure on your target as well as healing you. Keep in mind, that's one of the big things about this build. You have a lot of offensive healing, which keeps us in the fight longer. That's why I like these specific poisons. I should have the recipe for those on screen. If I don't, oh well. I've been known to forget. And then, of course, when it comes to our... Where the fuck? Oh, here we go. When it comes to our food, using Bear Haunch. You can use Jewels if you want to. I like Bear Haunch because I have money. And then, lastly, we are using Tri-Potions most of the time. We do keep Detect Potions on us. And lastly, these are the big boys here. Essence of Magicka. This is our Heroism pot. This is going to help us get our ultimate faster, again for both offense and defense, as well as restoring both of our primary status effects. So I usually chug these. However, if I'm, dueling around or something, or I don't really feel like sweating too hard, I'll just use Tripods. The additional healing you get from them is also pretty nice sometimes, get you out of a pinch. So try keeping both. If you can't afford heroism pots, you're totally fine with just Tripods. You don't need the heroism pots, but they're nice to have, for sure. But don't go into PvP without Detect pots. I promise you, it is miserable. It's a miserable experience. Alright, and I think that's it. Alright, if you made it this far into the video, that means you love me. And if you love me, guess what? I want you to know I love you too. Thank you for watching the whole video and getting to this point. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the build if you try it out. It may not be the most powerful meta build, but it's something different. And I don't see a lot of people playing like this, and it's been a lot of fun as a result. And I've gotten some compliments on the setup too. Maybe not from the super sweaty, try-hard meta players, but from some other players, from some people in open world that I've fought. It's been a good time. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave for the night. I really hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys have fun playing the build, and I hope I see you guys out there in PvP at some point. Love you guys. Have a fantastic day, night, morning, whatever time. Have a good time zone. Love you. Bye.
I could follow you, I like talk that means what that you wanted.